Subscribe, hit that bell icon, and share this clip if you enjoy it. This is TRS Clips. So, which brings me to a sort of private podcast you have had in your own life with those Aghori sadhus you came across.
Yeah.
I have to ask you,
Sure.
and this is the last section of our episode right now. What questions did you ask them?
Oh, I can. I'll be more than happy to share it. I'm not sure if I can share all the answers.
Yeah, sure.
But I can always put up the inquisitive, the aspect that came out when I was with him.
I'm also highlighting this because in my conversations with sadhus, whenever I've had them in the Himalayas, in life, those have been the most memorable conversations of my life. So I'm sure this was one of the most memorable moments of your life in general.
Absolutely. See, the first thing I'll say is that I didn't over prepare because I was overexcited, but probably because of this underlying genuine intent to know, the questions were already getting formed in my mind, in my consciousness, if I can put it that way. It was not a reporter asking questions, right? It was there. So a few questions I did. Let me be very open with you about this. I didn't actually have to ask multitude of questions. Sometimes these, like when I was with them, you ask them one and they start answering a lot more as though they're aware of the next few questions. I started by just putting a simple question is, why do you meditate in the Smashan Bhumi? Like, what is it that you find interesting, which you asked me earlier? Because I used to always get intrigued that they're the only people who go to a place where it's all typically negative. Kaun jata hai? So that's when he told me these two things is, and in their own way, they're these, mostly they're North Indians, right? From that side, UP side, they hail from there. So in their Hindi, quite abrasive Hindi, they told me that उनको सुकून वहाँ पे मिलता है. सुकून as in they feel more at peace when they're in the crematorium, at the cremation ground. Then they said something which I can only reveal something where they can connect with energies there. तो ये सब हिंदी में वो कह रहे थे. And the contact who was with me, some of the words I couldn't understand. So he later on sort of, he clarified. The other thing I asked was, so I'm not elaborating too much on it because I've already explained to you. But that was my question, why? The first thing was the intrigue, why the Smashan Bhumi? The other thing was I wanted to know that why do they, is it true that they actually eat and drink alcohol? Initially, there was a little bit of an aggression.
They got irritated?
Yeah, they got irritated. They got a little, rather he got a little upset because I had two encounters. I'm talking about one where I was able to ask more questions. And I was scared because let me tell you, when you're in front of an Aghori, they command so much of, I wouldn't say they're intimidating, but their personality is so strong. And that's why I say that because of their meditation, they're so strong, they know what they're doing. We don't know what they're doing. So we may think, wo kya aise baithe, but they are. So when when I put this question, they were a little, he was, when I say they, I'm saying this in respect, they. But I think because of the contact, again, and because I wasn't really trying to, click any pictures or trying to record and all, that's when he opened up rather and said that हमें कुछ मतलब मांस खाने में मज़ा नहीं आता है, हम ऐसे खा लेते हैं, जब भी भूख लगती है तो खा लेते हैं. And Ranveer, a lot of times such answers are not direct. They make you think later on. What do you mean भूख लगती है? तो मतलब they only eat to survive. When I said to you earlier or in the earlier podcast as well, उनका survival के लिए. And then when he saw that I was genuinely listening and trying to understand, he went to the extent of saying that कभी कभी ऐसे भी हम खा लेते हैं जो एक यंग पर्सन का होता है. अभी हिंदी में ही सेड दैट वर्ड. तो वो खाने से भी हमें हमारी साधना बढ़ती है. सो दैट वाज अनदर spiritual aspect which I wasn't aware of. Ranveer, many times we listen to others and we make our own assumptions, presumptions, convictions as well. But when this came directly, I knew this is what it is. Again, remember, this is one school of Aghori. There are maybe other schools, I don't know. Typically, this is one school. But, okay, the other thing is, because I'm a Shiva, sorry, you were saying.
What about the alcohol also?
Well, they do. But they don't drink what he said, because I asked him. And I'm paraphrasing it. Like, I'm trying to, explain what he said. Is that they don't drink again because they enjoy a drink in the evening and all. कभी मूड आ गया, कभी कोई ला के देता है तो हम पी सकते हैं, उसमें क्या है, हमें कुछ होता नहीं है. So for them it is almost like an outlandish way of saying that it doesn't matter. For them, food is consuming so that they get some nutrition or they live. Okay, they don't want to kill anything, so they eat what is already dead. They drink alcohol, not they drink every day. They're crazy. No, they don't. But if you say, like, chalo, hum bhi pee lete hain, usme kya hai? They drink the whole bottle. Now, I have not seen them drink, but I've seen it on a video. They have. Now, that part, again, sometimes gets over-glorified. Aghori peete hain. They just have, for them, that doesn't matter, yeah. What matters is the sadhana. That part, which is alcohol, is so much presented to the world that this is what Aghoris are. That's what I don't like, which is why I don't talk much about the alcohol. Even while I'm explaining this, I'm reluctantly explaining, because yes, they do. But is that what they only do? No, that's maybe 5%. It's not like, let's open a scotch, let's have a drink and all. They don't do that.
What do you think most of the time goes into sadhana, meditation?
Only that. They apply bhasma. When they wake up, they will go, they'll, pani nikalte hain, fir they'll apply, they put water, they'll apply the bhasma. Okay, there are some kriyas they do. Some hand mudras they do. तो ये किसको पता है? हम सिर्फ वही देखते हैं जो बस वो इतना नहीं है. They do certain kriyas. See, they also have their own philosophy about life. So how we perceive life, they don't. अभी ये मुझे क्वेश्चन से नहीं मिला. वो जनरल जो भी बात करते हैं तो दे एक्सटेंड समटाइम्स, जैसे अभी कॉन्वर्सेशन में रणवीर, आई एम एक्सटेंडिंग माई कॉन्वर्सेशन, दे एक्सटेंड समटाइम्स. सो व्हाट दे ऑल्सो सेड इज दैट फॉर देम देयर outlook to life is not how we look at life. And that came as almost like an education to me. As if I'm the student he was telling me. He was much more... The question on alcohol and food got him a little upset. But because of the contact, he understood that, chalo bacha yaar, chhod do. Stupid guy is asking all these questions. But then he talked about the way he or Aghoris look at life is only and only through the prism of enlightenment and Shiva. And then it was again for me to then relate it that, yes, because what else do they do? I have not seen them anywhere else. They are just, they're in their realm. And they're all they're saying is, let me be, man. You guys chill, let me also chill. If I can put it that way.
Yeah, no. I think
And one thing is, these interactions, though I have not told a lot of people, only because, see, this is a great platform where I can share. Would I be comfortable sharing it with some people who have come home for dinner? I can't. Would I be able to share it with people I'm going out for a nice dinner or a lunch? I think they will just put me aside, metaphorically. Here, I think it's only because, Ranveer, this is a podcast about something which is to do with the life of an Aghori. And that's the reason, Ranveer, I wanted to, I wouldn't say expose, but bring out these dimensions about Aghoris, who are lovely people, but not lovely in the way we would want them to be.
Yeah.
Hello, how are you? Come na, and all that. Na. They are different. Even Guru Shishya mein aise hota hai. Even normally also. Guru never says come and all. Guru will give you gyan, he'll guide you. Yeah. And that affection is different.
Yeah. The lowest form of pleasures are material pleasures. When you buy something, you feel great about it. Slightly higher than that are physical pleasures, where you make your body feel nice in a certain way, food or sex.
Sure.
Higher than that is intellectual pleasures, which is learning what we are doing right now.
Sure.
And the highest form of pleasure is, of course, spiritual.
Sure.
And this is what most people fail to understand, that you can't even imagine the kind of pleasure your soul feels when you chase certain spiritual processes, when you put it through certain spiritual processes.
True.
And this is what the modern world fails to sort of understand about Aghoris or sadhus or Naga Babas or just people who are spiritually advanced. And I'm hoping that this particular episode has highlighted the concept of spiritual pleasures for the average person, average listener.
Absolutely. I only want to say that, listen, we have our all pleasures in the chronology that you mentioned, right? Material, physical, sexual, carnal, etc., etc. As we live our lives, Ranveer, as the way we are, even the fact that we are talking like this about a subject like this and excitedly, albeit so, is a great, it's a great thing for us.
Yeah.
And there are so many viewers who are also like that. And maybe sometimes such kind of podcasts will act as a catalyst for them to strengthen the spiritual realm. My point is, as we live this way, the way we are, working, having a business, we'll have a drink maybe, or we'll go on a party, we'll build our, biceps, we'll have, a youngster will have a date. That is part of life. So this is not about wo sab chodo. That may happen. If it happens, it'll happen on its own. Like Aghoris, they don't, unke liye sab, they're like, what? Theek hai yaar, karo yaar. We've been through it through our past lives. They are only focused on spiritual. We are enjoying all, but we also should not, or if we are blessed, then we will also be touched by the spiritual aspect. But other aspects will be there. Dheere dheere wo chhoot jayenge. As you know, like we slowly feel, maybe not too many drinks or maybe too much partying. There's so many people I know who are so, rich and achieved, and they're like, I don't go for any parties anymore. मतलब वो छूट गया धीरे धीरे से. They're becoming more spiritual. Remember, you mentioned about this industrialists as well.
Yeah.
Right. And how, though outwardly they're robustly sort of everywhere, but internally they're so spiritual. That's where we, I think, are going to lead slow and steadily.
Yeah.